Hey everyone, ready to dive into something we all think about? I mean, who isn't a little obsessed with confidence?
Right, it's everywhere you look. Right.
Totally. But are we getting it all wrong?
Well, that's what we're digging into today, with some help from someone who knows a thing or two about confidence.
Former Secret Service agent and body language expert Evy Poumpouras.
Exactly. His insights are seriously thought-provoking, and we're going way beyond the surface-level stuff today.
Yeah, forget those clickbait articles like 5 easy tricks to radiate confidence.
Yeah, we've all seen those, right?
So many. We're ditching the quick fixes today.
Yeah.
And uncovering what really creates lasting change.
And I think that's what's so insightful about Poumpouras' perspective. You know, he doesn't just focus on outward techniques.
Right.
He goes deeper. Like, he actually challenges us to examine the foundation of our confidence, you know, where it all starts.
I love that.
He actually uses this analogy that I love. He compares the desire for quick fix confidence to, like, wanting 6-pack abs in 7 minutes.
It's so true, though.
We laugh, but...
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah. Haven't we all fallen for that kind of thinking at some point?
Totally. It's so tempting to believe there's a magic bullet for confidence, a quick fix, you know.
For sure.
But Poumpouras argues that genuine confidence isn't about tricks. It's more about, like, a journey of self-discovery.
Absolutely.
And that's where things get really interesting. He introduces this whole concept of 1,000 micro-expressions. Have you heard of this?
Oh, yeah.
It's fascinating.
It is.
So he's basically saying that even when we try to project confidence on the outside, our deeper insecurities can actually leak out through all these subtle cues we might not even be aware of.
What kinds of things?
Well, it could be anything, like a fleeting facial expression, a shift in our energy, the way we're holding our bodies even.
So interesting. It's almost like our subconscious is speaking a language of its own.
Right. Revealing our true feelings, even if our words are saying something totally different.
Exactly. And, you know, as a Secret Service agent, Poumpouras has seen this firsthand, right? Like how these micro-expressions can actually betray someone's true intentions.
Oh, I bet. Especially in those high-stakes situations he's been in.
Exactly.
Which actually makes his personal anecdote about dating even more interesting.
Yeah, what does he say?
Well, he talks about how he struggled to attract women when he was younger, even though he was, like, reading all those pickup artist books.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. He was trying to master all those external techniques.
Wow. So he was doing everything the experts said to do.
Exactly. But it wasn't working.
So what changed?
Well, that's the thing. He realized that none of those techniques actually worked until his own internal self-image shifted.
So it wasn't about the outward stuff at all, really.
It sounds kind of obvious when you say it like that, but it's so easy to get caught up in those external things, right?
Oh, 100%.
But for him, it was only when he genuinely started to believe in his own worth that he started to see different results in his dating life.
So it sounds like he was trying to put on this confident facade, but...
But those 1,000 micro-expressions, they were giving him away.
They were showing that he didn't truly believe it himself.
Exactly. And that brings us to what I think is a pivotal concept in Poumpouras' work. Sovereignty.
Okay, tell me more about this. Sovereignty, what's that all about?
So he talks about reaching a place where your self-worth isn't dependent on external validation.
Yeah.
You know, where you're not constantly seeking approval from others.
That's such a big one.
How huge.
Okay.
And I think we can all relate to that desire to be liked, to be accepted, to have our worth affirmed by other people.
Totally. I think it's human nature.
It's hardwired into us, right? But Poumpouras suggests that true confidence comes from a different place entirely.
Where's that?
It comes from cultivating this deep and unshakable sense of self-worth that comes from within.
So it's about being okay with who you are, flaws and all, right?
Yeah, and not needing everyone else to validate that.
Which, honestly, easier said than done.
100%. I mean, it's a journey, right?
Yeah, totally. But this is where it gets really interesting. So Poumpouras observed that when people can make this inner shift to sovereignty, it often leads to something really amazing.
What's that?
They develop this magnetic presence that naturally draws people in.
Oh, wow, I love that.
And he noticed this in his own life, too. Like, he noticed that people were more drawn to him once he reached this state of self-assurance. He wasn't trying to impress anyone or chase validation or anything.
Interesting.
It just naturally happened as a byproduct of his own internal transformation.
Wow. That's pretty powerful.
It is. And that's the beauty of this whole concept, right?
It's not about being arrogant.
No, not at all. It's not about having an inflated ego or anything like that. It's about this quiet inner knowing of your own worth.
Right.
And that radiates outward and naturally attracts people and opportunities into your life.
I love that.
It's about becoming magnetic because of who you are, not because of who you're trying to be.
So well said. I love this idea of sovereignty. It's powerful, but it does make me wonder, like, how do we actually get there?
Right. How do we cultivate that unshakable self-worth?
Exactly. Because most of us aren't just born with it.
Right. Definitely not. And that's where I think a lot of self-help advice can feel kind of overwhelming.
Well,
Like, yeah, I get it. Self-love, very important. But like, how do I actually do that?
right. Exactly.
But Poumpouras has a really refreshing perspective on this. So he emphasizes that, like most things worth having, lasting confidence, it isn't built overnight.
Okay, that tracks.
He actually compares it to compound interest.
Ooh, interesting.
This idea that, those small, consistent efforts we make,
Yeah.
they actually accumulate over time.
Oh, I love that. Such a good analogy.
Right.
Because it makes it seem so much more achievable.
Right.
It's not like we have to overhaul our entire lives overnight to see results.
Exactly. And he actually uses this really cool visual to kind of drive this point home.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So imagine you're adding sheets of paper on top of each other. One sheet, super light. Two sheets, still light. But as you keep adding more and more sheets, eventually you've created something with some serious weight behind it.
Wow, I love that.
Right.
So it's really those small, seemingly insignificant things that we do consistently over time.
Exactly.
Those are what really add up to create real, lasting change.
It really is. I mean, it's like building a muscle, right? Like you wouldn't expect to see a six-pack after one day at the gym.
Definitely not.
Exactly. And that actually ties into something else that's so crucial for building confidence, our environment.
Oh, interesting. Okay, tell me more.
So Poumpouras talks about the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. The people who lift you up, who support your growth.
100%.
He uses this circle analogy. You keep those supportive, positive people close and create a little bit of distance maybe from the people who consistently drain your energy.
It's so true. I think I heard this somewhere that's saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And our social circles can either be this amazing source of strength, or honestly, a huge drain on our energy and our confidence.
It's true. They can be either one. And what I appreciate about Poumpouras' perspective is that he doesn't shy away from talking about boundaries. Even with our loved ones, he acknowledges that sometimes to protect our own well-being, we have to create a bit of distance from relationships that are consistently, adding to our stress or our negativity.
It's so true.
Even if it's hard, even if it's difficult.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It can be really hard to do, especially when it's family or really close friends.
It can be.
But at the end of the day, we have to, we owe it to ourselves to cultivate an environment where we can actually thrive.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that you have the power to choose who you allow into your inner circle.
Right.
And how you allow them to impact you. And honestly, I think that's incredibly empowering.
And what's funny? It's like we come full circle back to body language.
Oh, how so?
Well, because we started talking about confidence in the context of like how to appear more confident, right?
Yeah.
All of that were things we can control.
Yeah.
Stand up straight, make eye contact.
Right.
But it's interesting because Poumpouras isn't saying we should just fake it till we make it.
Right.
He's actually saying that when you cultivate that inner sovereignty, that unshakable sense of self-worth, that's when the body language just follows naturally.
It's not an act.
Exactly. It's becoming a reflection of your inner state instead of something you're trying to force.
It's authentic.
Yes. It's like your body language just becomes more authentic, more aligned with who you really are. Because you're not trying to project this image of who you think you should be.
It's funny how that works.
It is. And I bet that's actually what makes someone truly magnetic and engaging that authenticity.
Absolutely. I mean, think about someone who just has this undeniable presence.
Okay.
It's not that they're like the loudest one in the room or the most outgoing.
Right.
But they have this quiet confidence that just draws you in.
It's magnetic.
Totally. And you know what? That's a really powerful place to be, just comfortable and confident in your own skin.
So true. It really is. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive on confidence, what's one key takeaway you hope everyone listening is really taking to heart today?
If you only remember one thing from our conversation today, let it be this. True confidence. It's an inside-out job.
Love it.
It's not about mastering a bunch of external techniques or tricks. It's about cultivating that deep and unwavering sense of self-worth that comes from within.
It's easier said than done, though. Right?
It takes work, for sure, but it's so worth it. And I think the most important thing is just recognizing that your value, it's inherent.
It's already there.
Exactly. It doesn't depend on external validation or what you achieve or anyone else's opinion.
I love that. And it's such a good reminder that we're all on our own unique journeys, you know? Comparison really is the thief of joy.
Truth.
So on that note, we'll leave you with this. Since we know confidence is an inside-out job, what's one small step you can take today to start strengthening your own foundation?
Ooh, I love that.
Maybe it's setting a boundary, maybe it's making time for yourself, or even just giving yourself a little grace today.
Yes.
Whatever it is for you, take that step. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deeper.